Hospital. Today is a day we will never forget, a day that represents resilience, dedication, determination, and most importantly, hope restored. Yesterday, the hospital received its license to reopen. But this moment is more than just the return of a hospital. It is the renewal of a promise we made to the community, a promise that no one should be left without care, that help will always be close, and that the hospital's future is brighter and stronger than ever. This journey has not been easy. It has taken the tireless efforts, It has taken the tireless efforts of so many people. Our hospital staff, our local leaders, and our dedicated state and federal partners. I want to personally thank the California Department of Public Health, both in Sacramento and the Fresno District Office, and a special thank you to Steve Lopez, Beth Burke, Ida Demas, and the entire survey team for your unwavering support. I also want to thank Heather Chimizo, Susan Finelli, and Chelsea Driscoll from the Sacramento team, and to the Central Applications Branch in Sacramento that turned around our license in an expedient amount of time. Thank you. You too have helped restore hope in our community. I also want to express my gratitude to Assemblywoman Soria and Senator Anna for this undertaking would have never been possible. Their leadership in passing Assembly Bill 112, which created the Distressed Hospital Loan Program, provided crucial funding to hospitals in financial crisis. This program not only helped reopen the doors of our hospital, but also ensured that Madera Community Hospital has the necessary resources to keep them open for many years to come. Their commitment to healthcare access in rural communities has made a lasting impact, and we are incredibly grateful for their dedication to our hospital. A heartfelt thank you goes out to the Madera Community Hospital Board of Trustees, whose vision, leadership, and unwavering belief in this hospital has made today possible. Your dedication to this community has been inspiring, and we are grateful for your guidance every step of the way. And finally, to our medical staff and our medical community, and especially to Dr. Mohammed Ashraf. There are not enough words to express our attitude towards Dr. Ashraf. He has been a tireless advocate for our hospital and the reopening of this hospital. He called day and night asking how he could help support our efforts, and he did that. He marched to Sacramento, he met with state officials, and he never wavered in his determination to make our dreams a reality. His relentless commitment to this hospital embodies the very spirit of hope restored. A hospital is more than just a building. It is the heart of the community. It is where people turn in their most vulnerable moments, where loved ones receive compassionate, personalized, high-quality care, and where healing begins. For too long, our community faced uncertainty, forced to travel long distances for medical attention, never knowing if they would make it in time. But today, that uncertainty is over. Madera once again has a place of comfort, a place of healing, and most importantly, a place of hope. This reopening is a testament to what can happen when a community refuses to give up. When people come together with a shared vision, with determination, and with an unshakable belief that something is worth fighting for, it will never be lost. But our work is not finished. In fact, it's just beginning. Because restoring hope is not about just opening our doors. It is about keeping them open and ensuring that every person who walks through these halls receive the care they deserve. Let today be a reminder that hope is never truly lost. It is only waiting to be restored. And because of each and every one of you, hope is restored today. Thank you for believing in this mission. Thank you for standing today with us. And thank you for making today possible. Now let's get to work because our community needs us. Today, hope is restored. And I'd like to turn it over to Senator Caballero.
Thank you. So good morning, everybody. It's a great honor to stand before you today as we mark a momentous moment in the history of Madera and the history of California, the reopening of Madera Community Hospital. We stand together today in celebration because when a community like Madera stands up, rolls its sleeves up, lends a hand to work, to hold government, business, and each other accountable and to work together, good things can happen. What makes this event even more significant is that the solution that Assemblymember Soria and I found here in rural California in order to reopen our community hospital has become a model for other communities in distress. The Distressed Hospital Loan Program, created in 2023 to support our efforts here in Madera, has enabled 16 hospitals all over California, from San Diego to the North Coast, to keep their doors open to provide health care to Californians. So today's reopening miracle is not just about the bricks and mortar of a building. It shows us what can happen when there is a real deep connection between their elected leaders and the people that we serve, and that when we bring considerable resources of the state government to fulfill our shared responsibility to ensure the health and well-being of our community. This story started in July of 2022 when community members reached out to let me know that Madera Community Hospital was failing and on the brink of closure in days. My office began to engage with the governor's office, key stakeholders, the Attorney General's office, the City of Madera, and the County of Madera, and I personally engaged with many of you here today to make sure we kept Madera open. Though we worked hard and got a grant of $5 million from the state budget, despite all our efforts, Madera Hospital closed its doors in January of 2023. Since that time, my great colleague, who was not elected at the time it was announced that it was going to close, but got elected and came up beside me, Assemblymember Esmeralda Soria, we tirelessly brought people, talent, and resources together to enable Madera Hospital to reopen. Not an easy task. Let me take a moment to thank the people responsible for working together. And let me just say, I could be here all day if I started listing names. So my apologies for not listing names, but just a number of of organizations that had a role to play is incredible. The governor and his staff were incredibly supportive. The California Department of Public Health, the Department of Healthcare Access, the Department of Consumer Affairs, the Attorney General's office, the Federal Bankruptcy Court, because they got involved as well, the City of Madera, both the elected leaders and the management staff, the County of Madera, both elected leaders and management staff, the federal representative, both our senator and congressman, the United States Secretary of Health and Human Services, the medical staff from Madera Hospital, the workers who took care of the facility when it was closed, because there were technicians here to make sure everything continued to work, the residents of the County of Madera who are desperately looking for medical services, our staff in our district and Sacramento offices, both for Assemblymember Soria and myself, and finally, Advanced American Management and the CEO, Steve Stark. All of these individuals were critically important in working together to get the licenses and the funding. So I'm here today to thank you for your hard work, your commitment, and your patience. Today we celebrate not only the return of vital healthcare services, but the renewal of promises made to each and every member of this community. The promise of better healthcare and healthcare services in their community. Transparency and a board of directors that needs to be responsive to the community, because we need to know how the hospital is doing. Accountability for every tax dollar spent to reopen the hospital, and a partnership between our elected officials and the community with a commitment to health care as a fundamental right. This reopening shows what we can do when we work together to focus on what matters most, the people and the health of the community. But the work has just begun. We all need to patronize, support, encourage, and welcome the new doctors, nurses, medical staff, janitors, and the board of directors who will open Madera Hospital. It will need all of our support to be a success, and we will need the new board of directors to communicate with the community and the elected leaders so that we can all continue to work together. I, for one, am excited to see this day and remain committed to help Madera Hospital to be the best it can be. Congratulations to the community of Madera. Congratulations to the new staff who are going to be providing the services that everybody desperately is anxious for. Thank you all for joining us here today as we celebrate, and congratulations, Madera. And now it gives me great pleasure to welcome to the podium my friend and great colleague, Assembly Member Esmeralda Soria.
Good morning, Madera. Thank you, Senator. And I think the Senator did an amazing job recapping really what this long journey of 2+ years of seeing this hospital trying to be resuscitated, essentially. And so today is a day of hope, as the CEO, Steve Stark, mentioned. It's a day of hope where families now here in Madera County, but also in the surrounding rural communities, will have access to the health care that they so deserve. As the Senator mentioned, I came into this, long journey even long before I actually got elected. I actually started asking a lot of questions and trying to figure out how we would be able to be helpful to ensure that the hospital didn't close. As said, that didn't happen, and so we faced the tragic situation that after 4 weeks of just being on the job, I was faced with having to face the community and tell them that their hospital was closing down, especially after this place had been so essential during COVID. And so that for me was a moment of reflection that I had to think about what I had to do. And so I had gone into Sacramento thinking I was going to work on affordable housing, making sure communities had safe access to safe drinking water, infrastructure, but this happened. And so it was a moment where I had to reflect and reprioritize what I would work on. And so when I stepped in the halls of Sacramento, I said that my #1 priority, and everyone knew in Sacramento that talked to me, because I became the Madera Community Hospital lady. That's what I became known as. People didn't know my name, but they knew about Madera. We had put Madera on the map because I said, and I made a commitment, that we would reopen the doors of Madera. I didn't know that it was going to take 2+ years. And I will say the efforts were, and I describe them as Herculean efforts by many. It wasn't just the Senator and I. It was the Speaker of the Assembly, Robert Rivas, who actually, he and I started working closely on this idea of the Distress Hospital Loan Program. It was people from the governor's office, from the different agencies, people from the community here in Madera that was keeping us accountable and were reminding us, like, hey, when is this hospital opening? I will say that I feel proud that within the first 150 days that I was in office, we were able to get this bill signed into law. But I didn't know that it would take over a year and a half to actually make today a reality. But what today reminds me of, it reminds me that government can work, and it can work when we put people first. And that's what we did in this instance. We put Maderans first. And we made sure that Sacramento, who sometimes typically, or I wouldn't say I would say very regularly, make sure that the Bay Area gets taken care of and the Southern California gets taken care of. Well, this was our time that the Central Valley was taken care of, because we deserved, yes, we deserved to have a hospital in a county that has a population over 180,000 people. That it wasn't acceptable that we live in the richest country of this world, that we live in the breadbasket of this state, and that we're the 5th largest economy, but that we allow hospitals to close in the most vulnerable communities. That wasn't acceptable in my book. And so I went to Sacramento, committed and very relentless, and I would not take no for an answer, because for me, it was not about the four walls and about just the services that it would provide. It was about the families that were being impacted. I think many of the news shared the tragic stories about loss of life, about women having babies on their couches, about people not being able to walk from their local neighborhoods because this hospital was accessed by many folks just walking into the emergency room. And so for 2+ years, this community hasn't had the quality of healthcare services that they so deserved. And so for me, it was an easy decision to say that Madera Community Hospital's reopening was my #1 priority, because Maderans matter. And it was an opportunity for the state to tell Madera that we see you, we value you, and we know how important it is that we bring life back to this hospital. And so I want to thank again, the center did a great job of recapping all the people, all the stakeholders that have been part of this Herculean effort. It does not take, two just state elected officials. It took a whole group of individuals and stakeholders to make this a reality. And so I do just want to say from the bottom of my heart to everyone that has been involved, all the way from the governor's office down to, our local community and the residents that have been so patient with us. And it's been so hard for the last 2 years to go to any event and be asked, Esmeralda, when is the hospital going to reopen? At one point, I just started saying there was no date, but it's going to happen. I don't know when, but it's going to happen. I kept the hope up because I knew that there was light at the end of the tunnel, that the work that people had put in would make this a reality. So I want to thank Senator Caballero as well, just for, being a dynamic partner in the state legislature. We worked hand in hand for the last 2.5 years, or 2+ years, to make sure that this was a reality. But each and every one of you that are here today, including those that have joined the staff, have been part of this effort. And it's a historic day in the state of California, because I don't think we can point to one hospital of this size ever reopening their doors after they closed, especially after 2 years. I don't think this has ever happened. And so I want to applaud every person. I want to thank the residents of Madera County for being patient and for trusting us. Because what we also know is that this hospital is an economic engine for this community. To date, we have close to 500 people employed. That is not just 500 individual people, that's 500 families here in our region that have a job here in their local community. And so again, I want to thank AMI, Steve Stark, for all of the meetings and the phone calls and the emails that we all exchange to make this a reality. Thank you everyone for being part of this historic day, a day of hope here in the city of Madera, in the county of Madera. Thank you for working with us. And I said it a little while ago to many of those that I was talking to. Today is only the beginning, because there is so much more work to continue to do to ensure that the residents of this valley, of this region, have access to all the services they need to ensure that they have a good quality of life. So thank you so much for this great opportunity to join you in this momentous occasion. And I also want to next introduce Chairwoman of the Madera County Board of Supervisors, Leticia Gonzalez, who actually was one of the first supervisors that I called, and I was trying to figure out, okay, how can we partner up, state and county, to make sure that today was a reality. So I want to give credit to the chairwoman for taking my call and making sure that the county was at the table every step of the way. Thank you to the County Board of Supervisors, and I now want to introduce Chairwoman Leticia Gonzalez.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Assemblywoman Soria. Thank you, Senator Caballero. On behalf of the Madera County Board of Supervisors, but more importantly, on behalf of the 160,000 residents across Madera County, welcome back, Madera Community Hospital. Today is a day of celebration, resilience, and renewal for Madera County. After nearly 2+ years of uncertainty, hardship, and determination, we stand together to witness the reopening of Madera Community Hospital. This reopening is not just about restoring hospital services, it's about restoring hope. It's about ensuring that our families, our seniors, and our most vulnerable residents once again have access to the quality health care they deserve. This achievement was made possible through the strong partnerships, unwavering dedication, and a shared commitment to the well-being of our community. I want to extend my deepest gratitude to State Senator Ana Caballero and Assemblywoman Esmeralda Soria, and all those at the state level who recognized the urgency of this crisis and stepped up with critical investments to help reopen our hospital. Your leadership and commitment to rural healthcare have made this moment possible. I also want to take a moment to thank our incredible county staff across all departments. When Madera Community Hospital closed, you didn't hesitate. You took action. From our public health team ensuring continued access to essential services, to our emergency responders adapting to increased demands, to our social services staff supporting families through the challenges of healthcare uncertainty. You were there every step of the way. Your dedication to the people of Madera County is nothing short of extraordinary, and I am deeply grateful. Sorry. I am deeply grateful. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge our administration department, specifically Jay Varney and Joel Bugay, for diving into an arena that the county had neither jurisdiction nor prior knowledge of the intricacies of healthcare administration. Despite that, they stepped up, dedicating countless hours, navigating complex challenges, and attending special meetings to ensure we got to this moment. Their leadership, problem solving, and commitment to Madera County have been instrumental in making today a reality. So thank you both for your unwavering service. To the hospital's leadership, healthcare workers, and everyone who has worked tirelessly to open these doors, thank you. As we look ahead, let's continue working together to build a stronger, healthier Madera County. Let this reopening be a reminder that when we come together, county, state, and community, there is nothing we cannot achieve. So thank you once again. Congratulations, Madera Community Hospital. Welcome back.
All right, so that's concluded this morning's press conference. Media, you will have availability with the speakers off to the side. The hospital has they have to prepare for the onboarding of patients. So thanks everyone for being here today. And again, media will have a little bit of time for the speakers shortly here as we move this podium and let the hospital staff prepare for patient onboarding. Thanks everyone.